There have been game-defining moments that make esports incredible.
I think he's in the bed. Oh, Faker may be in trouble here. Deathmark tries to clean it up for Ryu. Oh, look at the cleanse. Look at the moves. Faker, what was that?
These moments are flashy, intense, and just interesting to watch.
Man, all up in Moose's face, and he's getting a jumping one as well onto Thief. I said this the first time I called tens. This is his world, and we're just living in it.
But what happens when something, or someone, makes that difficult and almost impossible?
Oh, and another one! Oh, and a third! Happy! He could get another one here too, Dupree! Dupree is like sweating bullets! Happy's gonna get the quad kill in the ace! What is this?
In modern-day esports, the appeal to watching is the fast-paced, action-packed gameplay. Across every esport, the most famous clips and the most famous players are the flashy ones, the ones that are always entertaining to watch. This is what the most famous esports are built on, enjoyable content. But there is a story about one game, one character who slowed that game down and made the game unenjoyable to watch. When I say slow down the game, I'm not talking about a scaling character that gets stronger later in the game, or a character that is so useless that you can't even do anything interesting with them. No, I'm talking about a character, an agent, whose entire existence changed how you played the game. Changed in a way where you couldn't go fast, make it interesting, or have fun. I'm talking about Afia Danso, better known as Astra, the agent who slowed down Valorant. On March 2nd, 2021, in patch 2.04, Valorant would add its fourth controller to the game, Astra. Originally from Ghana, Astra harnesses the energies of the cosmos to reshape battlefields to her whim. With full command of her astral form and a talent for deep strategic foresight, she's always eons ahead of her enemies' next move. I don't know what that means, but there you go. Astra brought a couple new mechanics to the game. Her C, Gravity Well, pulled players towards the star's center that she could place anywhere on the map. The other new mechanic she brought to the game was with her ultimate, Cosmic Divide. Astra put down a wall that you couldn't shoot or hear through. This was exciting for the Valorant community since we hadn't gotten a new controller since the game's release. It was also exciting because she was a true controller. What I mean by this is a controller that you could run solo. Before we only had Brim and Omen and they were getting kinda boring. But what the Valorant community didn't know is that Riot added an agent that would change the game as we knew it. An agent that would be a leading part of one of the most annoying metas ever in Valorant. An agent who killed off the other agents in her role. And most importantly, with everything together, an agent that would slow down Valorant. To understand how she slowed the game down, you first have to get familiar with her release kit. Astra had 5 stars that she could place anywhere on the map at any time. From these stars, you'd be able to use your abilities. Her Q, Nova Pulse, would stun in the star's range. Her E, Nebula, would place down a smoke at the star location. And her C, Gravity Well, which was the biggest problem, would pull players towards the center of the star. Mid-round, Astra could press F on any of her placed stars and would recall the star back to her, leaving a 2-second smoke. Astra's new mechanics, although fun and interesting, were too good. Her pull-in had no counterplay, you couldn't shoot the stars or get rid of them in any way. Once they were placed, they stayed, unless Astra wanted to move them. The biggest issue with Astra was that she had too much stall, and too much stall obviously slowed the game down. You couldn't rush sites at the start of the round because after your jet dashes in, the rest of the team had to wait for the pull-in to go away. And if there was a molly or a grenade after the suck, chances are your jet would die alone on the site and you would lose all the space that she got. The crazier part is that she didn't have 1, 2, or even 3 pulls that she could use in a round. If she really wanted to, she could pull 5 times in a round. Now, that most likely would never happen because she has to smoke, but there were times that after she smoked, she could pull 2 or 3 times in a round. She was able to do this because the cooldowns on her abilities were only 12 seconds. Even lower, the cooldown for her to get her star back after she recalled it was 8 seconds. These issues so far though are only on defense, but on attack, Astra created another issue. Another issue so bad that a lot deem it as the most annoying meta ever in Valorant. A little under a month after Astra was released, patch 2.06 came out buffing everything about Viper. One of these buffs is to her Toxin, making it so if you crossed through Viper's Poison Cloud, Toxic Screen, or Viper's Pit, you were inflicted with at least 50 decay. The result of this buff was people playing lineups on Viper because her Poison Cloud on the bomb, comboed with her Molly, would kill someone before they could defuse. Now, let me run the math down. Look at a map like Split. Take both the Viper's Mollies, 8 seconds on each, so that's 16 seconds to stall. Then take 2 Killjoy Mollies, 4 seconds each, so that's another 8 seconds added to the 16. Then an Astra pull, if used properly, is another 4 seconds. This adds up to 28 seconds of stall. Also, it takes 7 seconds to defuse the bomb, so that means the defenders have to get to the bomb in 5 seconds or else they had no chance of winning. This is obviously an extreme example, but seeing 2 agents that consisted of Brimstone, Killjoy, Viper, or Astra wasn't that uncommon back then. Keep in mind, Chamber wasn't out at the time, so Killjoy was seen on almost all if not every map. People were trying to play Viper on Bind and Split, Icebox and Breeze were in the rotation too, which were both Viper maps, and Brim was played on Bind, and Fracture when it would come out later. Well, what was Riot's response to this? Obviously everyone knew this was an issue, including Riot, so they did a few nerfs and even added a new agent to try to combat the issue. I'm just gonna get this out of the way, KO did absolutely nothing to this meta. Nobody was learning knives for the lineup spots, and even if they were, chances are people just break the knife. The nerfs though that Riot implemented did help to get us out of this meta. First off, the Viper in patch 2.09, they nerfed the instant decay on our Toxic going from 50 to 30. This made it so if you didn't pre-fire the Molly, people could stick the bomb and defuse it. I'm not going to explain the exact numbers like last time since it's too confusing, and even if I did manage to explain it, it would most likely be terrible and you guys wouldn't understand, so just trust me, it helped. The other nerf was to both Astra and Viper in patch 3.0. Holy shit, this is a big patch. Okay, first off the Viper, Riot reduced the duration of her snakebite from 8 seconds down to 6.5. They also made it a bit more expensive, but that's about it. Now for Astra. Astra got hit with a few nerfs in patch 3.0. The cooldown on her Q, Nova Pulse, and her C, Gravity Well, both went up to 25 seconds from 12. They also did a few things to her stars, but the most notable one was to her recall cooldown on her stars, going from 8 seconds to 15. Directly from Riot, these changes aim to add more counterplay on barrier drop, and provide much longer and clearer cooldown windows after Astra uses or recalls her stars. These changes actually helped to lower the effect of the post-fight meta, but did absolutely nothing to Astra. Her picker is still high, even reaching 100% picker on some maps. For some reason, it took Riot 9 months after patch 3.0 to actually finish the nerf on Astra, and to fully get rid of the post-fight meta. Patch 4.04 was the controller rework. Brimstone and Omen would see buffs and quality of life changes to their kits, while Astra and Viper would see a series of nerfs to their kits. Starting with Astra, the notable changes to her stars were that now she only had 4 of them instead of 5, and when she recalled one of those stars mid-round, the cooldown was 25 seconds instead of 14. Her Gravity Well and Nova Pulse would get yet another increase to the cooldown, going from 25 seconds up to 45. Her pull also got a size decrease. Her smoke would also get a cooldown nerf going from 14 to 25 seconds, but the size of the smoke was increased. She got some quality of life changes, but nothing was going to make up for the nerfs that she got. Now for Viper. There was a lot done to Viper in patch 4.04, but I'm only going to point out the important ones. Her fuel now ran out 50% faster when both her orb and wall were up, and her snakebite duration went down again, going from 6.5 to 5.5 seconds. Remember the math I was talking about earlier? Well, instead of 16 seconds on Viper's mollies being on the bomb, it was now 11 seconds. Her nerf in patch 2.09 also made it so that you had to pre-fire the mollies, so it was even lower. On the topic of the post-fight meta, Killjoy's mollies also accounted for 8 seconds of stall, but since Chamber had basically taken Killjoy out of the game, that was another 8 seconds gone. Although Astra's time on her Gravity Well wasn't touched, the cooldown on it was almost doubled, meaning that most of the time, Astra had to decide on using the pull for the bomb or the side exec. These nerfs finally put an end to the terrible post-plant meta. They didn't take out the post-plant completely, but they made it so that you can just brainlessly plant the bomb and run away to start spamming abilities. Well, what about Astra? This patch didn't just directly nerf Astra, but also indirectly nerfed her. We saw buffs to both Brimstone and Omen. Although not huge, they definitely have to put all controllers on the same level. For Brimstone, they made his smokes bigger and faster. They also added a speed boost to his stim beacon. Omen got a similar buff to his smoke. The cooldown was now lower and it also moved much faster. As crazy as it sounds, Riot actually did a good job at balancing the controller role. This nerf didn't just take Astra out of the game like they've done with other agents, it just put her on an equal level with the other controllers. In Masters Copenhagen in 2022, after patch 4.04 settled in, all three controllers were right next to each other in terms of pick rate, and Viper still had her spot in the meta. Even today, in Champions 2023, all three controllers are still seeing similar pick rates. There's no crazy aftermath story to Astra. Once again, Riot surprisingly just made a very balanced role that came from good nerfs and buffs, but sadly Riot wouldn't learn from their mistake. The story of Chamber, which I have a video on, showed that Riot was still Riot. Chamber had a very similar beginning to Astra, but met a very different end. Astra showed everyone what an unbalanced agent can do. She slowed the game down at every level and made the game unenjoyable. Thankfully, Riot did a good job at nerfing her and just left us with what we had before, but more. Thank you for making it to the end. If you guys enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe to the channel. It helps me keep making more videos and it keeps me motivated. I'm still new to YouTube and editing, so if you guys have any feedback or suggestions, please leave it down in the comments. I'm trying to improve my editing and storytelling, so any feedback will be put into the next video. Also, if you have any suggestions on what my next video should be, please let me know. Thank you for watching and see you next time.